Hello and welcome back to a new episode of the Conversion Lifeboat Hygge. I am sitting in the door opening showing you the cockpit. I've done a bit of filling and fairing and I'm kind of showing you this to show you what went wrong. I did this yesterday late afternoon. I mixed up way too much. This is epoxy filler with the microlight because that sands really easily, and I thought I had the right thickness, but because it generates its own heat when it goes off, it started to go walkabout, as you can tell from all the drips and drabs. I'm not too fussed about it. It's going to take a bit more time to clean up. That side went all right because I made a smaller batch and actually made it slightly thicker. If I get up and show you the other side, which didn't go too bad just by the opening, that's going to be easy enough and quick enough to clean up. So even though I should know that that's what epoxy does, I got a bit over enthusiastic with it, but that's just one of those things. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. What I'm showing you here is the port side of the cockpit, and this big hatch locker is, if it opens, which it should do, is the space where my gas bottle is going to go. And what I need to do, and I'll show you on the inside, is put some gas pipes in it, which will go through the utility room. So behind here is where the gas bottle is, and it'll have to go around that wall, over to that wall, drill a hole through that bulkhead, take you around to the other side, come out there somewhere in the corner, basically slightly under the height of the counter, go all the way along, all the way along, all the way along, and then another corner, and this, where my chop saw is where the hob is going to go. So I'm hoping to get that pipe in, and then I can forget about it for a bit. I think I near enough got all the things together that I need. I'm using some PVC coated 8mm copper pipe. I quite like the idea of having that protection, extra protection from the PVC around it, and it won't deteriorate as a copper pipe would do. They would go green with moisture, and being in a salty environment, there's always a bit of salt in the air, so try and make it as good as I can. There's a valve, there's some connection bits, some 90-degree elbow bits to make all the corners. And yeah, I have got the hose and the thing that goes onto the bottle. I just forgot about the name, but it'll come back to me. Anyway, so I can put this in. I probably need to start drilling a hole from the inside of the locker, so I know where it needs to come out, as this would be a bit of a blind guess at the moment. So I'll get the rest of the things together and get that sorted. Just an in-betweeny look at how far along I am. I've made the bit of pipe to go from the gas locker across this bulkhead towards that long pipe that goes through the bulkhead there, comes out the other end, goes through the back of the kitchen, back of the galley, and then they'll end up in that corner and come across to get to where the cooker needs to go. I've used, you should use, that's what they say, proper bulkhead fittings, but the silly thing to me seems that you have to cut the pipe and get another 2 joints, so I'm using a bit of the water pipe. I'm going to mastic that in, and then that shouldn't come to any harm. The same for that one, it's poking through the other side at the moment, but I will push that back and get that in. Shouldn't move anyway. There will be brackets to go on there, although I can't find my proper P brackets. I will use the ones that use cable ties for now, that if I come across the proper ones I'll replace them. But yeah, so this is the big thing really. Need to finish it up, connect it all up, and that's another step closer to being able to cook on board, which can't be a bad thing. Have done as much as I can do for today. This is from the utility room, the back of the galley, which I showed you. I've gone round the corner, and it is in the space where the cooker is going to go, so that will be sitting ready for when I get round to doing that. Like I said, I still need to do the window frames before this bit of the counter can go in with the sink, and then I can hook up a tap and also the drain, which has got the seacock for it over there. But yeah, keep chipping away at things, getting further and further, and I'll have to have a think over lunch about my next job for today. Another endless job, it seems, is covering these windows. We've managed to do 2 of them. As you can tell, the difference between one and the other, it's the perforated vinyl film, which has a lot of stretch in it, which we found out by doing it on too warm a day, and it just went here, there and everywhere. So we're doing this in the evenings, and I have got the engine hatch and the top step out again, because like I said last week when I was doing the engine hatch, I was going to give my engine some attention, and it turned out it needed it. What I've taken out there is a bolt that should hold an anode like this, but I'm not sure you can see that, but that's kind of in there completely pulverized, so I need to pick that out so I can put a new anode in. The anode goes into what is the heat exchanger, so the coolant, which goes here, goes through the engine and goes through the heat exchanger, which is cooled by the seawater. And when you get seawater going through metal, there's a good chance of electrolysis, which would mean that your engine gets eaten away. So by putting these zinc anodes in, like you do on a steel boat on the outside, and even on a GRP boat for your rudder and on the prop shaft and stuff like that, you stop your engine from being eaten away, and instead this gets eaten away. It's called a sacrificial anode. I have taken the end cap off my heat exchanger, and you can see where the hole for the anode is and how crusty that is. It's even worse on the inside. That's my heat exchanger. I can clean that up. This is where the salt water goes through pipes on the inside, and that cools the coolant. And then it's a wet exhaust, which means that the water that gets pumped through the heat exchanger goes out the exhaust. It's quite funny, I just went to the yard to see if they had a new copper washer for the old thing I was going to reuse, but it turns out that yesterday late afternoon my new ordered anodes with the nut on it arrived, and in a way they're a lot better than what was in there. I will show you. They are longer in the thread, as it were, and that basically because this thread on here is slightly tapered, which means they go into the hole a lot easier, they line up nicer. The anode is also slightly thinner than the loose ones I bought, which means it sits in the hole a lot nicer, which probably also means that it will come out easier to check for maintenance and replace as well. And yeah, I'm happy they just got here in time, because I was going to buy some new ones anyway. That's all back together again. Check the oil, needed a bit more oil, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. The other side of the engine, the new anode is in, as you can see from that nice shiny new stud there. A bit more complicated as the pipes for the coolant and the raw water come out of this end of the heat exchanger, which makes sense. So there was a bit more to do, but like I shown you, the new anode is in, so I'll put the bits back, and then that's another thing I can forget about for a bit. At the end of this week's video, I'll slowly turn round and show you the cockpit where I've been sanding. I've done the engine anodes, got the gas pipe in, although that still needs a bit more support there. And now I'm kind of filling and fairing the cockpit because I'd love to get that finished as well, so it looks a bit better. And hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have, please like and subscribe. Leave me a comment if you want. And I hope to see you next week on the new one. Bye.